2017, where did the year go? I don't know, but 2018 is here. Happy New Year to everybody. Mike Tendo here. I wanted to touch on the year in review for 2017 for the channel, kind of highlight some of the stuff you may have missed, possibly, or maybe just didn't see, or whatever the case may be. But these are some of the accomplishments that I was most proud of in the year as far as what I was able to do with my channel, and you know, kind of celebrate it a little bit, because 2017 was a huge year for the channel. So you know, the year started off and I started doing reviews just like I normally do. The first review of the year was Shantae Half Genie Hero, which I've often thought felt incomplete. Good review, but I feel like I could have tacked on more. And the reason I say that is because there's more content that came out over the year that completely changed the game around in a lot of ways, and kind of added a lot of quality content. And now that all that content has been released, maybe do like a director's cut? I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I do that? But that I was pretty happy with. That was the very first episode I ever used my newest camera on. If I recall, I believe that's the first one that I used the new camera on. And I think because of that, there were some problems that I had just getting used to it, focusing on certain content and information. It's also a very difficult camera to use with just one person. You kind of have to have two people. I don't know, it's just kind of the way it is, unfortunately. But moving right along, shortly after that, I was able to put out 2 Ghost in the Shell reviews, which I look back on those, and those are 2 of my funniest episodes. Ghost in the Shell and Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex, which came out in March, right around the time when the movie came out. So check those out. All links will be down below, by the way, and some of them will be at the end of this video too. So I mean, as far as that goes, that was kind of a daunting task, because trying to get something out in time for a movie, I don't generally do that. I don't normally do like movie review game sorts of things, like when movies come out that I review a game based on the movie. I don't generally do that often. So it was kind of a challenge to be able to do 2 episodes at once and get them out, you know, within a couple weeks between each other. So that was pretty cool. And also, I would say another pretty big milestone for the channel as far as reviews go was the Spyborgs review. I have been wanting to review that game since I started this channel, and I just really felt that it was this truly underrated game that nobody has really played, nobody has really heard of. So I'm really glad that I got the opportunity to not only review the game, but also interview one of the creative directors on the game, and use that information for the review, which I'd never really done before on a review as far as that goes. So that was really cool that I was able to, you know, kind of get some more detailed information and kind of behind the scenes look at the game, and kind of see things from a different perspective than what I would normally see as just a player. So that was really cool. PixelTunes had a really big year as well, just to kind of jump around. PixelTunes had its 100th episode recently, this past October, which was really cool. That was super exciting. And we also were invited to Retro World Expo. I was invited as a guest, but in addition to that, I did 3 panels myself. But one of the panels was a video game music podcast panel, which had a bunch of our fellow video game music podcasters on the panel, and it was really cool. It was Halloween themed. We had a lot of fun doing it. It was great. So that was super cool. It was great to meet a lot of them. Some of them I had met earlier in the year at Too Many Games. Too Many Games was awesome as well. That was really a lot of fun. I got to hang out with my buddy Rewind Mike, and we got to, you know, hang out, play some games, and it was just cool. Overall, like, great convention experiences this time around. I got to hang out with my buddy Square Painter too, which was always fun. Him and his girlfriend Nina. So it was cool. I mean, we all had a lot of fun. I got to meet some other cool people too at Too Many Games as well. I believe I met the guys from My Life in Gaming, who were super nice, and yeah, and also Living in 8 Bits. I got to meet Mike from Living in 8 Bits, which was really cool. So a lot of really awesome people. Oh, Dan as well from Console Wars. That was awesome. It was good to finally meet him. Their channel's great. I really dig their channel. They do kind of similar stuff to me, really like kind of goofy humor. So it was nice that, you know, I was able to kind of talk to somebody who had content that was very similar to mine in that sense for reviews. Other than that, PixelTunes also, we were able to interview some people for interviews for episodes. Episode 103, which came out a couple weeks ago, we interviewed John Baker, who is the composer of Toe Jam and Earl and Toe Jam and Earl 2, Panic in Funkotron, yeah. And a bunch of other games too, like Gex, Enter the Gecko, and Gex 3, Deep Cover Gecko. So yeah, that was really cool. I learned quite a bit from him, and also Norin Rad, who his name is Matt Creamer. Some of you may know him from his work on the Retro City Rampage game. He did the soundtrack, or part of the soundtrack for that. He's done a ton of other stuff. He's really super talented and a super, super nice guy. So it was awesome to get to chat with him as well. Really cool. So yeah, PixelTunes had a huge year. Was really happy with the way that everything went with that. As far as other stuff, I streamed a lot this year. Like, it was nice because I got to connect with you guys, and that was kind of the way I wanted to do it. I wasn't necessarily trying to make money off it or anything like that, but it was cool to sit down and, you know, kind of interact with everybody through streams. I feel like made a lot of connections there, a lot of really kind of neat people to chat with and you know, talk to. So that was a lot of fun. Patreon. I reopened my Patreon. I had told the story earlier in the year where I like started a Patreon several years ago, but then like I didn't feel comfortable promoting it and asking for money at the time, and nobody had really offered, so I was kind of like, meh, whatever. And so I kind of retooled it once I discovered that somebody had been, I actually apparently didn't close it. I must have like shut off notifications for it, but I didn't shut it down because somebody was donating, and they've been donating for like a year and a half. So I reopened that, and I've been pretty happy with the results of that. And you know, I want to thank every single person who donated at any point in time to Patreon. It's really cool to be able to interact with people on that level as well. For other stuff for Dude You Haven't Played This Game, Wild 9 was an episode I've been working on since the previous November, and I finally released it in last August, this past August. I was pretty happy with the way that episode turned out. I think a lot of people liked it. I thought it was really funny, the whole shtick with the intro, with the manual, reading the manual and doing everything that the manual says. I thought that was great. It was just something that I came up with, and I thought it was pretty creative, and it seems like people really enjoyed the skit that time around. The Halloween review is always a blast. I always love doing it. I did a two-parter for this year that kind of tied in with it, where I reviewed a game called Ball Jacks, which was a Mega Drive exclusive, and then I kind of led in from that to the Halloween episode with a cool skit, and that was pretty awesome. I reviewed Rusty on the PC-98, which is, you know, it's a pretty obscure system, pretty obscure game, but I thought that went really well, and the writing was great, the jokes were on point. I thought it was a really fun episode to do. the biggest, probably one of the biggest things, and one of the things that I personally am just kind of still blown away that I was able to do this was I got to meet Koji Igarashi from Castlevania fame, Bloodstained, all that, and you know, this is a guy that like I just love his games for the most part, and I'm a pretty big fan of Castlevania, and I got to interview him, and you know, it was just super awesome. There's a video that, again, it's down below in the links, and I was so grateful for that opportunity. I mean, he lives in Japan. I never personally thought I'd ever get to meet him, and I did, and that was great. So I'm very thankful for that opportunity. I want to thank 505 Games for that. Specifically, I believe his name was Roberto, yeah, so that was really cool. I was super stoked to meet him. For other stuff on the channel, I was relatively happy with the way that everything went overall. I really was happy to work with various different people. My buddy Paul, who helps me out with the intros, I can't thank him enough for everything. Retro Shred, my buddy Jeff, he does fantastic video game music covers. He has got a great channel. Check him out as well. Links down below for him. And you know, he supplied the season 6 music, which we're probably going to keep the music this time around for the upcoming season. Probably going to stick with the same music, but maybe change the video around to include some clips from this year, from this past year for the the upcoming episode for Dude You Haven't Played This Game. 2018 is going to be a big year. I'm very excited for it. You know, I'm going to be as I said in previous update, I'm going to be a dad this year, which is pretty cool. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm trying to do as much as I can with the channel beforehand, just so you guys do have content and stuff to watch and to be entertained by. I'm working on an RPG review right now. It's obviously a pretty in-depth thing because I always beat games before I review them. So I've got about 43 hours worth of content recorded for gameplay, and I wouldn't say I'm scratching the surface. I wouldn't say that. I'm pretty much like a little more than halfway done with the game. So I expect that that's going to release sometime this month. And so 2018 is already going to start off with a bang. I've also got another really cool project that I've got lined up, which I think is going to be really cool. I can't really say anything about it, but it's going to be a video that I had a really good idea for a video, and I thought it'd be really cool to do it. And I don't think, not too many of people have done this. I've looked online and maybe a few people have done it, but I don't think people have got as in-depth as I want to. So I'm looking forward to that. I know, I'm sorry, I'm being really cryptic, but I can't really say much more. So yeah, I'm excited for that. Look for that sometime in January. I don't know when. It may actually be before the next review, but look for that. Well, one other thing, Gaming Linguistics was a new series that I started last year in 2017, and I was really happy with the way that came out. Really great response, at least initially, and I'm looking for more examples of things to do. I've got one in mind that I'm going to be working on probably in February, most likely, I think, maybe, or January. It really depends on how the RPG review turns out and how much work I can get done on it. But from this point on, you know, there may not be that many videos, maybe some streams here and there, but it's mostly going to just be PixelTunes Radio as far as that goes. So we've got an episode of PixelTunes coming out next week. Yeah, next week, which will have my buddy Nico, aka the Wii Guy, and I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be based on Super Nintendo, so check that out. And that's it. You know, this is pretty much that. That was the year in review as far as 2017, and that's some stuff to look forward to in the next like month or so for the channel. So, you know, kind of turned into like a second update if you will. But I wanted to thank everybody for donating on Patreon. Oh, one other thing, I totally forgot about this. I just realized. I also want to thank everybody who donated to the Castlevania Charity Marathon, the Castlevania Charity. That was a really cool experience, and we were able to donate money to a good cause. I've always wanted to do this, and sure enough, most likely we'll be bringing it back next year to do Castlevania 2's Kitty's Quest or Doggy's Quest. I don't know, but that's definitely something that I'm gonna be doing again. We were able to raise like over $150, I think, for local animal shelter. So really cool. I mean, anything I could do to help out. So that's it, guys. So again, Happy New Year. Thanks so much for tuning in, and you guys have yourself a great January coming up.